When your world collapses and everything seems completely lost, do you think God has abandoned you? Look closer. He is stepping into your darkness right now to turn your heart of stone into power.
The Book of the Prophet Ezekiel. Ezekiel was a priest who had been living in Jerusalem during the first Babylonian attack on the city. They spared the city, but they took a first wave of Israelite prisoners and hauled them off into exile. So the book begins 5 years after all that, and Ezekiel is sitting on the bank of an irrigation canal. It's his 30th birthday, no less, the year that he would have been installed as a priest in Jerusalem. And then all of a sudden, Ezekiel has this vision. He sees a storm cloud approaching. And then inside the cloud are 4 strange creatures that have wings outstretched and touching each other. These creatures each had 4 faces, and then he saw 4 wheels, one by each creature. The wings of the creatures were supporting this dazzling platform, and on that platform is a throne. And sitting on that throne is this human-like creature, glowing and shrouded in fire. And then all of a sudden, Ezekiel realizes what he's seeing. He calls it the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. Now the word glory in Hebrew, it's kavod. It means heavy or significant. And that's actually the most shocking thing about Ezekiel's vision. What is God's glory doing in Babylon? It's supposed to be above the Ark of the Covenant, in the temple in Jerusalem. And so the first section of the book opens to explore that question, as Ezekiel begins to accuse Israel of rebellion. So God first speaks to Ezekiel from the throne chariot, and he commissions him as a prophet. Ezekiel is to accuse Israel of breaking their covenant agreement with God in a couple ways. Israel has given their allegiance to other gods and has been worshiping idols, and this has all led to rampant social injustice and violence.
And so as a result, God appoints Ezekiel to warn the people. Jerusalem, its temple, all face imminent destruction.
So he was supposed to build a tiny model of Jerusalem and then stage an attack on it. Ezekiel is to accuse Israel of breaking their covenant agreement with God in a couple ways. Or the most extreme, he was to play the role of the scapegoat on the Day of Atonement. And perhaps the most disheartening thing of all is the bad news God gave Ezekiel, that no one was going to listen to him. And then all of a sudden, Ezekiel realizes what he's seeing. He calls it the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And so a dismayed Ezekiel, he begins to perform his task. And after about a year, he has another vision. This one is about the temple. He goes on this virtual tour of the temple, and he sees what's happening there in his absence, and it is not good. In the outer courtyard in front of the temple, he sees this large idol statue. And then he sees the elders of Israel worshiping other gods, both outside and inside the temple. And then he sees the women of Israel. They're worshiping a Babylonian god named Tammuz. Israel's idolatry and their covenant violations, it's become so blatant and offensive that God has left his temple. But God hasn't abandoned his people. Rather, he goes into exile with them.
So the next 3 sections are all announcements of God's judgment. First on Israel, then on the nations around Israel, and then on Jerusalem itself.
But then after that, the hopeful conclusion of chapter 11 gets developed in the final 3 sections of the book. First hope for Israel, then for the nations, and then for all creation. Chapters 12 through 24 focus on God's judgment coming to Israel.
The river does not merely flow to the sea, young one. It represents the journey of the soul through the trials of life.
Or as a rebellious wife. Or as a dangerous, raging lion that gets captured.
I understand your hesitation. The cost of this action will be immense, perhaps unbearable for some.
Following this, Ezekiel focuses first on the nations immediately around Israel, and then on the 2 most powerful states in the region, Egypt and then Tyre. And so God accuses the kings of Tyre and Egypt for arrogantly viewing themselves as gods.
I saw it myself. The collapse was total. There is nothing left of the ancient city but dust.
And that even if the most righteous people in the world like Noah, Daniel, or Job were alive and praying for God to spare Israel, God would not accept their prayers.
Following this, Ezekiel focuses first on the nations immediately around Israel.